Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have Andy Grant. Andy comes to us from Littleton, and he is a transformational energy coach and an author. Welcome, Andy. And when Andy got here this morning, he brought us this. And this is who?
That's Plush Larry. Plush Larry the Lizard.
And he goes with this.
Yeah. The Globetrotting Adventures of Larry the Lizard. That book is Larry and the Amazon. We actually have a series of children's books featuring Larry the Lizard. And Larry, the original Larry, is the plastic lizard on the cover of the book.
Yeah, like the kind of little boys play with, those little rubber,
Yeah, I've had him since college, and just on a whim, the first big trip I took was in 1999. I did a safari in Africa, and a friend said, be sure and bring Larry. So ever since then, we've brought Larry places and just take his pictures, and he's this great international icebreaker, and people are like, what's up with that? What's that about? So that book is Larry and the Amazon.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. My wife and I wrote it together. It's all of our actual pictures from the Amazon rainforest in Peru.
Yeah.
And it was such a big hit, and we loved seeing how kids reacted. We made Plush Larry to encourage kids to create their own adventures, be it their bedroom, their backyard, a field trip, a family vacation.
I'm seeing coloring.
Yeah.
Larry the Lizard colors with the kids.
Yeah.
There's a froggy here. All kinds of things that children, you like to deal with, as a coach, dealing with the upbeat part of helping people out.
Yeah, I'm all about getting the most out of life, tapping into the joy of life, happiness. I just finished a year-long program in positive psychology, which was really transformational.
So tell us how you got into being a transformational coach.
Well, I was not always this way. I was a very depressed teenager. In fact, I tried to kill myself multiple times when I was growing up. And I was hospitalized numerous occasions, been on dozens of different medications, and they just didn't work.
Yeah.
Finally, the thing that worked for me, the first thing I got into was meditation.
Which kind?
I use Holosync, which is just CDs. It's binaural beats, so you don't have to think about it. It just puts your brain into a meditative state.
Okay, so it's nobody talking behind you, leading you through it. Okay.
So it's, but I've guided meditations I've enjoyed too, and that's what first got me into it. And then energy work is really a guided meditation and learning to be present and be grounded and recognizing. I discovered that a lot of the depression and sadness I felt was from other people. And I mistook it as my own emotions. I was so empathic and sympathetic and in tune with people's emotions that I was a natural energy worker all along, but I didn't know it.
Right.
So I was like this sponge picking up negativity from others, thinking it was my own, and not understanding where it came from, and spiraling down into feeling suicidal.
Depression, they say, is catchy. If you don't take care of yourself, like I've lived with persons who have depression, and I had to learn that I said, this has nothing to do with me, this is their thing. I have to live my own life and have the thing, and so I did. I went along by myself, got out with my friends, had my own life, and because you can't cure them.
Right. And all energy is contagious.
Yeah.
So you can be so
I
upbeat.
wish, though. I mean, if I'm upbeat around the person, it's like, oh, well.
No,
not
eventually
always.
it works. Like I was there. You can't help anybody who doesn't want help.
Right.
And for years, as a depressed, suicidal kid, I didn't want help.
You didn't.
I didn't think I was capable. I thought this was how I felt. This is how I was meant to feel. There was no other way. I just thought I was, so flawed and broken. I had no hope.
Were you the only child?
Yes, I was.
You were. And were your parents upbeat, or did they have depression?
Depression runs in my family, so that's why I was.
What's the matter? Hang on. Technical difficulty.
Ran out of juice.
Hang on. You do it. Have you done this before?
I've done a lot of radio interviews.
Yeah.
This is the first.
What radio stations have you
A lot of blog talk radio, different things like that online.
Have you gone on at all with Jordan Levy over in Worcester?
No.
I've interviewed him. He's he's on WTAG.
Okay.
He's really good. Okay.
We're back.
You okay? Okay.
So there is a long family history of depression in my family. There's actually 2 generations of completed suicide before me, so I really, for a long time, thought it was my destiny.
Right.
And that attitude, I feel this way because I'm supposed to, it's just how I'm made.
The wiring.
Yeah.
It's not anybody's fault.
No.
Really, people, what is it? Some people say the shame of a mental health issue, but it isn't. If you have a broken arm, you're going to go in and get it fixed. If you have wiring that's just a little different than someone else, Go get, go look into it. Do what you got to do. It's not anything to do with you as a person. I've had that happen with my own son. He went through the bipolar and all this type of thing. And he just could not, he's brilliant with what he's interested in. He's off the wall. I can't keep up with his scientific data. But when it came to something he did not want to do, he'd march up to the teacher and say, "You're not teaching this right." Walk out of the room. Did your parents face that too at all?
Well, I was very good in school,
Yeah.
but it almost came so easy. People told me it came so easy. I don't put a value on it.
Yeah.
But that, especially looking at the energy of someone, and that's where society makes it so much harder. But if someone's interested in this one subject and they thrive at it,
Yeah.
instead of forcing them to look at the things they're not doing well,
I know.
let them focus on what they're great at.
Exactly. But
And-
that's the
and-
school curriculum, though,
Yeah.
right?
But if you feed someone's level of what they're a genius at,
Yeah.
everything else rises with it. But if
Yeah.
you make them focus on what they're not great at, it brings that genius part back down.
And then to punish them for not getting it.
Right.
So I think most teachers, God bless them, are not really trained on how to deal with it. And it's not their fault.
No.
It's just that they're not. You have a room full of 20, 30 kids, and you've got one or two that one is like the class clown, maybe has ADHD, the other one has ADHD but more bipolar. And a teacher is like, what do you do? So they end up in the special ed department. They're not they're not slow in any way, shape, or form, but ship them out to the special ed department.
Yeah, I wish special ed really meant special.
Yeah.
And it was curriculum and advanced for what some of these kids need.
But you were lucky.
focus on
You
it.
made it through high school. And you went to college at UMass.
Right. Yeah.
And you majored in
Mass communication.
mass communications. You stayed there the full 4 years?
Yeah.
You did. And when you got out, what did you do?
I ended up working in public access television out
Yeah.
in Western Mass and
In Western-
Connecticut.
Yeah. You enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I've always been. That was a big thing to discover for myself. When looking back, when I was happiest, I was always creating something.
Right.
So I've always had to have lots of creative outlets.
Yeah.
And when I didn't, that's when depression and isolation and would all just set in.
Did you have a lot of friends growing up or not?
From the outside, I probably looked like I did, but I didn't feel like I did.
You felt hollow, alone?
Yeah, there was a lot of emptiness, and I'd be out with people. People who I've known through high school and college were shocked when I made a suicide attempt or to hear about this,
Right.
because looking at me, I put on the gay face and went to parties and was doing stuff, but I felt horrible inside. I
Right.
was just faking it.
You're a very good actor, but on the inside, you were crying.
Yeah.
It scared you? I think, right?
You know what? The weird thing is, dying scared me less than living. Right? I was more afraid of being alive and expressing who I was.
Yeah.
So that's what I was afraid of.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. Most people are the other way around.
Right.
Like, whoa, they got the skin on the feet. Like, I don't want anything to do with death. So when did you get into coaching?
I've been coaching for about 2 years now, and I got into it because I learned energy tools. I took a year-long program on how to really just master my own energy, be grounded, release things that I didn't want, that weren't serving me. And halfway through that, I'm like, I love this work, and
Yeah.
I'm really a natural at it.
Yeah.
I'm going to coach people.
Right.
So I do one-on-one coaching. It's all over the phone, and so I read someone's energy, see what their issues might be rooted in, and use tools to clear it. And I've worked with people in Australia, Germany, all across the UK. I've had people from Africa find me online and call me.
How
And it's
long have you
just
been doing
amazing. 2 years.
2 years. Was it hard to get it originally off the ground?
Oh yeah.
People are having an awful time. They'll advertise on Craigslist. How did you get the word out?
It's just word of mouth. That's what
How did you get the word out?
It's all via word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
And energy work is much better experience than I can explain it.
Right.
So I do speaking engagements, I do workshops, I let people experience things, and then they decide that I give a money back guarantee.
Right.
You try a session. If you don't feel different, you don't feel the energy in you by the end of the call, then, no harm, no foul. And
Now with the workshop, this is really. What is it like? I mean, we're going to have you give out your information. First of all, how do people get in contact with you?
the easiest way is online. My website is navitascoach.com.
Can you spell that?
Yeah. NATIVASCOACH.com. Navitas is the Latin word for energy.
Right.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, Navitas. I thought that looked familiar.
Yeah.
My grandfather took Latin at Clark, and that is hard. I don't know how he did it. But so then people get in touch with you.
Yeah, I have they can sign up for an email list. I get a newsletter. I teach workshops. I have a blog there that talks about my books that are released, workshops I'm doing and have coming up.
How often do you do a workshop?
It depends on what center books me, so I don't have a regular schedule. We're actually teaching my next one, where I'm trying something new. I'm teaching at home. Realized, my wife is part of this big family, and we have, 18 to 20 people for holidays. So I realized, I could easily have 10 or a dozen people in a class at home.
Right.
So on June 1st at my house in Littleton, I'm teaching my energy tools to rock your life.
To rock your life.
Yeah, and it's kind of the basic, the intro.
Yeah.
It's meant for someone that has no experience of what is this, what is energy, what is this woo-woo stuff, and it's just an introduction.
Yeah.
And then I do some guided meditations. I teach tools on how to be present, how to be grounded, how to create boundaries, how to not have the... Because we talked about earlier how energy is contagious.
Right.
And if you're not aware of your own boundaries and protections, you can walk into a room where someone's been fighting and feel that.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
can cut the tension with a knife.
Right. And you can walk into a place, a group of people that are laughing.
Yeah.
You walk in, you've missed the joke, but you just start laughing too.
Yep.
So it's all about recognizing that, knowing how to pull your power from things you don't want to feel, from the energetic vampires that really just suck the life out of you.
I've seen books about that, but I am so much in agreement with you about somebody in the family, whatever, having depression, and how it just does. You can struggle and you try to carry on your own life and keep the focus on yourself, but it just ekes into the family unit in the craziest ways. It comes out as anger.
Mhm.
You must see that a lot.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things I tell people is, you've got to give yourself permission to be human, to feel all of your emotions. Like, when I was depressed and suicidal, I lived down here in the emotional basement. And I thought normal people were just living up here, just happy and constant all the time. But it's not the case. Everybody, it's a roller coaster of emotions, but it can be a roller coaster that's always going up.
Right.
So higher highs, higher lows. That's how life can be and should be.
Yeah. This is Andy Grant, and he is a transformational energy coach, and you're also an author. Now, this lizard with the book, is this your only book so far?
No, that's our first Larry the Lizard book. I also have a series. I've been doing ebooks this year. I released 3 ebooks because of working on my big opus, and then I realized, a 40 to 60 page ebook can be done so quickly and it just gets out there so easily.
Well, let me tell you, the majority of people I know want to feel, I am one of them, feel the book, have the book. I don't want anything to do with a nook or whatever the thing is there. I want to go and get the book and hold it. Briefly, this encourages children. Tell us about this book a little more.
Yep, that's all of my wife and I's personal adventures through the Amazon rainforest in Peru, and we brought Larry. And there are pictures in there of Larry meeting kids who don't speak English.
Yeah.
Our guide took us to the village he grew up in, which isn't a normal tourist stop.
Yeah.
So everybody under the age of 6 had never even seen Americans.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. But they just giggle and laugh at Larry, and that visit is that trip is really what made me, all right, we've got to write a book. Kids just respond to this so much.
What about, when you see adults who have mental health issues, you have such a talent for this and understanding. Are you going to write a book for grown-ups?
Yes.
Because we're just big kids.
Yeah. It's and that's the whole thing. It's create, it's play. It's being grown up is a crock. Like keep being a child. That's where all the fun is.
If you lose that part of yourself, I can tell it with certain friends that you hang out with. It's gone. They don't know how. They'll say, "Well, how, Jan? How do I?" I think a lot of it has to do sometimes with our parents. My mother could be very playful. She was great with kids. And my father, when he stopped working and calmed down, he was great. He knew how to work hard and play hard. So I got the message. It's okay. But really, I love this guy. Where can they can go also to Barnes and Noble and get your book?
Yeah, the book itself is on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
The Globe-Trotting Adventures of Larry the Lizard.
Yeah. And the plush is only available from us at LarryTheLizard.com.
Yeah.
And we actually have package deals with the book and the plush. We can autograph the book and personalize it to people
Yeah.
for birthdays and things. So it's been a lot of fun.
Did you design him, or you just sort of?
No, I designed him.
You did?
Yeah.
You looked at the rubber lizard there, and then you looked at this guy?
Yeah, went back and forth with found a toy manufacturer that could do custom toys.
Yeah.
And their first take of it was he was like much like the Hulk. He was this really muscle bound, like,
Yeah.
no, that's not right. Yeah,
No,
so we
no.
got him thinned out.
Oh, this is obviously. What kind? Is it just from the Amazon area?
No, Larry is an Australian frilled lizard.
Okay.
And when we travel, so many people think we're from Australia. Australians love us and they
Yeah.
recognize it because,
Yeah.
like that lizard in Australia, there are signs. It's almost like a pigeon. He's
Yeah.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
they're like dangerous crossing the road for that type of lizard.
Do they get very big or they're?
They get like that big, but they're the ones that they can run so fast they end up on their hind legs.
Oh, the guy that I've
They can
seen
even
him.
run across water.
It looks like he's got a hood on.
Yeah, right.
I've
That's
seen
the
them.
frill. That's what's on, and on that's on some plush layer.
All right, now you gave these are definitely online. You have 200 powerful positive affirmations. Now that's a book online.
Right. That's the first book I wrote. I released that in January, and the response has been phenomenal. And that's why I like ebooks. I put that out there, so readers have asked for an audiobook, and they've asked for more. So I'm already writing a sequel to that book.
I wish you
And-
would make it book for
Well,
me.
yeah. When I have them both, I'll combine it because they're just like a 60-page thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be cost efficient to bother to make it physical.
I know I would read it in a second as a book.
All right then.
Oh yeah. And you've got Homer the Hound Dog's Guide to Happiness with a picture of a real dog on here.
Yeah, that's it's life lessons I learned from my dog Homer.
Yeah.
Who tragically Homer was killed at the beginning of this year, and it was going through that, working with the energy of that I knew I had to write that book.
And that's him on the cover.
Yeah, yeah. So it's full of his wisdom, things I didn't realize he had taught me until he was gone.
Yeah.
And because I'm an energy worker, someone advised me to contact an animal communicator, and the story of doing that is in the book, and
Oh, my
connecting with Homer's spirit, and I feel him more now than I did when he was alive. It's just
When did you write this?
amazing.
Gary?
I just wrote that in February.
So you had one out in January. You've had this one out in February.
And
then
just last month, I released the
healing and mystical states are just a breath. Oh,
so that's all about holotropic breath work.
that means breathing from the belly like when we were babies, right?
Yep, but holotropic breathwork is a group process with really loud tribal music.
Oh.
Once lying on the floor, you breathe for like 3 hours non-stop. That natural pause you have at the end of breaths, you keep it going, so you're getting as much oxygen in your body as you can, and it puts you into this altered state of consciousness. And I've had the most healing experiences of my life doing breathwork.
But you're all sitting there for 3 hours doing that?
Yeah.
You know, I go to a East Indian. She was on here, Nita. She does East Indian Hindu. It's a Hindi meditation, and I fell in love with it because it's not for everybody. But it's so simple, and she is just so sweet, and she just guides you. I need to have the mental part a lot because she starts you from the top of your head, and she says, "And you'll work through your nose and through your teeth, and all just I was the only blonde American in the room, but they're like my family. And it took me about 3-4 years before I finally, that's a long time, relaxed enough. And all of a sudden I heard one day, I said, Jan, and they're all looking at me, all the brown eyes, the dark hair. What is Jan, hello, we're over. I said, oh, I fell asleep. She says, no, you were in deep meditation. I still am not sure. It's happened again. And I love the feeling.
Yeah, that happens to me. And some people mistakenly call it that they've fallen asleep. I call it going unconscious. You're so deep, you're just gone. And I've had it from someone will lead me through like a 1-minute meditation, and I'm like, gone. And I think, wow, hours must have gone by.
That can't
and they're
happen.
like, it's amazing.
But you could go out that quickly? I mean, you can...
Yeah.
See, no.
You can.
Well, it's been
Would you like
years.
to do it?
I
Yeah.
was lucky it happened, and I was shocked. There is nothing that has ever... I'm pretty alert, so very alert, and it's like, for anything to just do that, I felt, I trusted. It was like going into another little world.
Yeah.
And it was like leaving everything behind and just going with what she said.
Yeah, it's all about like she's really doing energy work, creating a safe space where you can finally let go
Yeah.
of all
But
the mental stuff.
Not pushy, not at all. She follows Babaji out of India, and actually he's coming to Westboro. But I like it when she does some of it in English, obviously because I don't know what she's saying. I can sing in Hindi, the chants, but when they converse together, I'm like, oh, I don't understand. So now you do the workshops. People call you. When are the workshops? Are they usually at night or in the daytime? Or?
Yeah, most of I have short 3-hour workshops. Those are in evenings.
Oh, they're at evenings in Littleton?
Yeah, so my next workshop is June 1st. It's a Saturday evening starting at 6:30. It'll be about 3 hours long. I also have full day workshops, and those are usually taught at some spiritual centers. I
Right.
teach a lot in Heaven on Earth in Pembroke, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I'm getting on the schedule of various towns continuing ed programs for this fall. So yeah, 3-hour things and full day things.
I think it's fascinating that it took off that quickly, and this is great, by word of mouth, because people will, in their good intention, they'll get on, I guess, by Craigslist, and they'll put it under creative or something like that. So we have one guest who's a cartoonist illustrator. He just done very well on Craigslist. But some other things, not so much, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I've never even thought of Craigslist. I don't advertise at all. It's all just word of mouth.
But then, but if you just worked with one person, do they know that many people to get the word out? Or
How many people do you know?
a lot, but not. I don't know if they'd be so interested if I was in what I would be doing. I don't know as far as that goes.
Yeah, it's that people. Like my goal is that people have such a transformative experience via energy work that they tell everyone they know,
Yeah.
and it's just enough to raise people's interest.
Are they from all walks of life, Andy?
Oh yeah.
Like businessmen, CEOs.
Some of the funnest things to do is someone in business and say they have like 3 different ventures that they could pursue and they're not sure which one.
Yeah.
And I just energetically look at it, and one of them just bursts with light.
Yeah.
And I really just interpret the energy, and the client realizes they knew it all along. I'm reading your energy, and it's just things that you're blocked to seeing or something like that. You're not really to accept it. But it's just fun.
Yeah.
I get a real like high and rush.
Well, if you say fun, then I'm interested. Yeah, fun and relaxing kind of like hits it with me. I like that a lot.
Well, then some people, it all depends what the issue is rooted in. I've had people burst into tears but instead of years of talk therapy, you go to the energetic root and you can just zap it. It's really amazing. It just brings it to your awareness, and I have tools to help. I walk you through kind of guided meditations that help dissolve it and take that power, take that hurt away, take the limitations that you've been given by teachings and parents and society, and just strip them away and realize, oh wait, I've been this happy person all along. I've just been covered with all the things I thought I was supposed to do instead of what I want to do.
Is there a limit on how many people can come to the workshop?
Yeah, the one at my house, certainly.
Well, the one you're going to have June 1st, say.
Yeah, that one is at my house.
That's at your house.
So it's.
Are you filled up?
Not yet.
No, not yet?
I just announced it yesterday.
Not yet. It's not filled up yet.
If you visit navitascoach.com, getting my email list. I'm also on Facebook, and I put a lot of things on Facebook about down to the wire, like, hey, there's still room for 2 people tonight, et cetera, and things like that.
You're excited about you talk about radiating energy. Oh my gosh, I'm like, you're really out there. But that's a good thing. You took a lemon in your life and made lemonade.
Yeah, I believe that all the trials, the difficulties we all face are our greatest gifts. You're just going to recognize it and find a way to work it.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going through something, I found like starting a support group for some people who are going through the same thing or giving presentations and speeches. That was my way of coping when there was a crisis in my life. I said, I'm getting out there and going to give free presentations of what I did. And it took me away from so much personal what I was going through. And I saw the expressions on the people's faces who were listening. And I didn't feel so, you don't feel so alone with it. You're saying, my gosh, that person's going through the same thing with the tears in her face. But they don't have the courage yet how to face it, and that's why I'm here, to help show them that type of thing.
The first thing I did was once I decided I wanted to go public and get my story and realize this is why I'm here, I would go to survivors of suicide support groups, and I would be surrounded by moms who had lost their sons.
Yeah.
And they would ask me questions like they were talking to their son. And I could tell them, just from my experience and from everyone else I've met, even if I said, I hate your guts, I'm going to kill myself, it's your fault, it's just a complete lie. It's not true at all.
No, it's not.
And just the release they would get just from being able to ask questions and know that. And
you have a lot of people come to you that have been self-medicating with drugs and booze to get through the anxiety and the depression.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I won't work with someone doing that.
Hopefully you would know ahead. You would be able to pick up on it.
I can tell. And I've had a few people, I look at their energy, I say, here's the issue, and you've got a choice to make.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, I know. And then I present people with, here's the main issue and that I see, and you have a real choice to make about choosing to be happy or choosing to stay in this misery that you've created. And they know that, and they're not ready to make the choice.
No,
Because it can be scary. Like, I know, it's scary to leave the identity you think you have. I was so sure how flawed and screwed up beyond repair, beyond fixing that I was, that I didn't believe it was possible. So I didn't even seek it. I didn't allow anyone to help me.
And this is how I met Gary. Actually, became aware of him was through the NAMI newsletter. NAMI is the National Association for the Mentally Ill, and it's a newsletter you can get in the mail, and different people tell their stories. And I had seen yours, and then I had somebody connected us with each other. And I said, what you do would be really interesting, I think, to a lot of my viewers, because there's so much of this out there. We've got about 4 minutes left. What are your parting thoughts to people? Again, tell them about what you do.
Well, I'm a transformational energy coach, so I work one-on-one with people over the phone where they are and really read their energy. I can read the essence of a person, tell you who you really are without the trappings, without the crud you build up over your life, and help you dissolve that and live a more vibrant, in tune, happy, joyous life, which we're all entitled to.
Right.
I was troubled from a kid going, what's the meaning of life? I had suicidal thoughts from as early as 8 years old. Because I was looking at the big picture, wanted to know the meaning and wanted all this importance. And, the point is to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Go with the flow if you can.
Yeah. Well, you always can, and it's always a choice.
Right.
So it just raise your own awareness, and don't be afraid to put yourself first.
Right.
Even if you're in a situation with other people going through difficulties, you can't be sick and give someone health.
Right.
You can't hate your life and help someone enjoy theirs.
You'll burn out.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
it all
hap- yeah.
starts with self-love. That I just taught a workshop just for men, all on loving yourself.
Really?
It was the first one. It was the premiere, and it's something I felt called to, and I was afraid to do it.
How'd that go for you?
It went really good.
It really went well?
Yeah, it was powerful. I want to see that one grow.
That would be really good. Quickly, again, how can they get in touch with you, Andy?
Navitascoach.com, nativas.com. You can email me at andy@navitascoach.com. Visit the website, get on my newsletter. You can join me on Facebook and find out about all my workshops and books. And
Yeah, and Larry the Lizard,
yes.
Barnes & Noble, and also online.
Yep,
Yeah.
LarryTheLizard.com for Larry. He gets his own site.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
See you next time.